It's time for Around the Ozarks in 5, brought to you by the Springfield Greene County Park Board, Roto-Rooter Plumbing and Drain Service, Blue Current, and Thompson Sales. Here are your hosts, Ethan and Sarah Foreheads.
Hey, good morning on this Wednesday. Hope you're well today. Let's see, we're midway through the week, making progress. We've had storms this week, more storms on the way, and that's what we're going to be in this podcast with today is the reaction to storms and the response. It's been a busy time of severe weather in our area across much of the Midwest. Powerful tornado hit Barnesdale and Bartlesville, Oklahoma. Barnesdale is a town of about 1,000 people located about 40 miles north of Tulsa, so not too far away. It took the life of at least one person there, destroyed houses, knocked down trees and power lines, and caused the evacuation of a nursing home. Springfield-based Convoy of Hope is on the ground there, responding very early with relief supplies for survivors of the storm. Convoy was already, as you know, working in Oklahoma, responding to tornadoes that hit Marietta, Sulphur, and other small towns just a few weeks ago. And that same storm system that hit Barnesdale early Tuesday morning also knocked out some power and caused damage around our area. Knocked down power lines, damaged some roofs, especially in the Willard area. And we're in that pattern. More severe weather is likely today, even this morning. So be sure to tune in to Abby Dyer's Wake Up Weather, wherever you get this podcast, to keep up to date with the very latest on the weather.
All right. Heads up on the roads today. Galloway Street in South Springfield is closed through more of the week. Road crews are making some emergency repairs to stormwater drains between Bellhurst and Horseshoe. The crews are trying to have those repairs made and hopefully have the road open again by Friday. There was a lot of water early yesterday morning. I mean, it receded well in most places, but in this case, obviously it didn't. But there was so much water on the road early. I was out very early and I was like, man, that was a lot of rain. All right. A new building on the square in Ozark got the thumbs up from the Board of Aldermen. Barely, but they did. It was 3-3 vote. And then the mayor had to vote to break the tie and it got approved. We told you that Torgerson Design was trying to put a new headquarters on the square in the vacant spot. Another building collapsed in 2022. So this is where that building used to be. The company's first design was refused by the aldermen because they did not feel like it was a good fit as far as aesthetics goes. But this new one, they kind of redesigned it and it got the approval the second time around.
Yeah, the square in Ozark is in a historic district there. That's why the aldermen get to decide and weigh in, yay or nay, can this building be built? And that's what they're looking at. They're looking at it matching the rest of the square. And the second version of the Torgerson building apparently did, at least in the minds of 4 of the 7. So,
right.
A preschool for the deaf and hard of hearing on the Missouri State University campus is closing. The speech language hearing clinic, it appears, will not have enough support to continue operating. MSU says that program supports the preschool. The program that supports the preschool has been phased out due to a lack of enrollment. So there won't be any faculty to staff the preschool after this summer. So that's a shame for a lot of people who have been counting on that and utilizing that because they'll have to find something else. But the issue, it appears, is not enough students going into that as a major. So they've done away with it. Right.
That, yeah. Yes, is tough, especially because it's probably hard to find, like limited places can handle that type of a client. So
didn't your sister used to work at a school like that in Oklahoma? Maybe still does?
She works at the School for the Blind.
Oh, yes.
The School for the Blind. Close, but yeah, different. And I mean, there are some deaf and hard of hearing students there as well. But primarily she does Braille. And I mean, it's a huge school there because people come from all over to go to it.
Right.
It's interesting because I think I've done a story on this clinic at MSU years and years ago. But it's an interesting thing too, because you're right. A lot of students who were studying that in undergrad supported it, and there's not enough of them either. So,
yeah, I'd be curious to find out why that is, but we won't find out today.
At least not right this second. Yeah.
Yeah, Springfield Public School Board member Mariam Muhammad Khani just was elected at the Missouri Republican Convention in the state to represent the entire state as part of the Republican National Committee to help develop and promote the Republican brand and its platform going forward. She will serve a 4-year term during doing that. So congratulations to her.
Yeah, good for her. Yeah, I mean, that's a big deal, actually. Good for her.
Yeah.
All right. In celebration of Preservation Month, the Roundtree Council for Preservation is hosting a historical house tour. So this is fun. This is not my cup of tea, but this used to be my mother's cup of tea. A lot of people love this sort of thing. So that's shocking to you, isn't it? She's also the mother who made me go to Hobby Lobby regularly when I was a child, and Hancock Fabrics, even worse. Anyway, I do love my mom. I do, but it was.
And you like those stores now, but it's they bring back,
I'm not a crafter. I still don't love to go in there because I don't know where anything is, because that's not like, I don't know what I'm looking for. I always have to have help. I'm always like the poor pitiful girl that doesn't know what tulle is. I'm like, I need tulle. What for? I don't know. For a costume of sorts. They're like, well, that's a material and it goes on a tutu. I'm like, oh, okay. I remember going in there one time asking for tulle, and I felt like a tool because I didn't know what I was talking about. Anyway, so the historical house tour back to Roundtree neighborhood. It's this Friday, May 10th from 6 to 9 p.m. And then on Saturday from noon to 4. The will call ticket location is at the University Heights Baptist Church on South National. You can get advance tickets online. Google it, because it's an Eventbrite site. So I'm not going to read the site this long. I'm just going to tell you, Google it. It's the Roundtree Council for Preservation. And they are having a historical house tour, and it's going to be great. Okay.
I feel like you've done all you can do.
I've said it clearly. I've spoken clearly. Surely you can write that down. All right. Springfield's Midtown Carnegie Library branch is temporarily closed for some renovations. They're doing big upgrades there. Going to take them about 10 months to do so. So if you enjoyed specific services at that specific branch, fear not. They have been moved to other library branches within the city.
Okay. We'll see what the renovations provide. It also looks like spring turkey season was among the best in recent history. Missouri hunters took some 47,000 turkeys. The spring season concluded just on Sunday, but it saw big jumps from previous harvest totals in the previous couple of years. And I know a lot goes into that, because we heard the last couple of years, I can't remember why, but it wasn't a great harvest. So things have changed apparently this year. So congratulations to the hunters.
Funny story about turkey season. A friend of mine had been out turkey hunting in the morning, and he got up early. He went out, he was hunting with his friend, and they didn't find anything. And I didn't know he was a hunter, but I saw him later in the day that day. And he's like, hey, how's it going? What you been up to? I was like, oh, it's a good day. I just went for a bike ride. I was like, other than when I was coming down a hill, I about took out like 20 turkeys because they were all crossing the road. And he's like, you saw turkeys? We spent all morning in the woods and didn't see any turkeys. And then I was like riding my bike and I saw all the turkeys. But he told me that turkeys come out. And if you're a hunter, you already know this. But if you don't, this was news to me. They apparently come out early in the morning, and then they come out again around 2. And it just so happened that on that particular day on my bicycle, they were on the road that I frequent.
Okay. Well, too bad.
Now you know.
Didn't have a gun.
I wouldn't have shot one if I could have, I want them to live. I'm not planning to eat a whole turkey leg unless I'm at the fair.
That's true. That's true. Well, here is something that, safe to say, doesn't happen every day. Maybe it's never happened before. I don't think it ever has in Phelps County. But nevertheless, the Phelps County Sheriff's Department found a full set of medieval-style armor just sitting on a county road near State Highway F. No explanation. There was nobody in the armor. It was just the armor.
Yep.
So they have it and say, if it's yours, maybe you want it back. And if you can show proof of ownership, it is yours.
I can remember at one point going to Phelps Grove Park, and I was running around it, circles, and there were some interesting people in full body armor having like a sword fight. It might be theirs. It could be theirs. I don't know.
Well, you know what?
Have you ever seen these people? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, of course I've seen them. And
Here's the
medieval
thing:
people
is they're
in
like
parks.
my age. I'm like, what are you doing with your life? Sometimes I wonder what I'm doing with my life, but I feel like that would be a valid question for them.
I've seen them in parks. The one on National, right at Sunset. I don't know, whatever that little park is. It's a small little park, rectangular. But I've seen them in there before, and I always want to stop and watch for just a minute, but I peer at them as I go by, and I'm perplexed by it the whole thing. But anyway, it's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle.
I feel like I know whose it might be. That's all.
It's a specialized group, and they know what their passion is.
It's a niche. It's a niche audience. Anyway, yeah. All right. Well, this is fun. This is some people's love language. If body armor is not your thing, it is time for the concerts at noon in Founders Park.
Oh,
How about that, you classical folk lovers? Starting today, they are featuring the Summit Prep All-Stars. So this will happen every single Wednesday throughout May and June at Founders Park at noon. You bring your lunch and you eat lunch and watch the free concert. It's going to be a great time.
And it's all different types of music each week. It's a different type of music, so you can just sit there and enjoy some music.
And learn
probably listen more than watch, but you can do both.
All right. And then finally on Thursday, so tomorrow, it is Garden Day at the Springfield Botanical Gardens. And there's a lot going on out there. So there's free admission to the Mizumoto Japanese Stroll Garden. A garden tram tours on the hour starting at 11. You can meet the experts in gardening. So if you have a brown thumb and you want to talk to the green thumbs, now's your chance. There is the Caterpillar Cafe dedication happening out there, the reopening of the Butterfly House for the season.
Nice.
So there's a whole host of events, and it's all types of the day, but you can look that up on the Springfield Greene County Park Board. But that is happening at the Springfield Botanical Gardens on Thursday.
Yeah, good time if people want to get out and enjoy that sort of thing. So way to go, Springfield Greene County Park Board. And thank you for being a sponsor of the podcast.
Yes. Once
we got
all
married.
The rain moved out yesterday, we went to the park, the children and the puppies and I went to the park, and it was so great.
Yeah, it was a nice day yesterday after the rain moved out. You're right.
And we got married in the park. Is that what you're about to say? We got married in the park?
We did. The Hosta Garden there at Close Memorial Park, which is right next door.
Yes, it was awesome.
We did. It was a good time.
And I won't belabor the point, but we were the first, just so you know, and then everybody else decided to follow.
I think everybody now knows at this point. I think you've said that enough times.
Thank you.
Everybody knows.
We got married so long ago there that we had to rent a porta potty. And now the rest of you are spoiled because there's bathrooms. There's a Caterpillar restaurant dedication today. You know, like we didn't even have bathrooms. But I didn't care. It wasn't slowing me down. I remember Jody Adams, the park director at the time. She's like, there are not toilets out there. I was like, oh, but there will be, Jody. So anyway, it was a great time. Okay. I think that's all. Is that all you got?
I think that's it. Have yourself a fine Wednesday, and we'll see you back here on Thursday.
See ya.
It's time for Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather, sponsored by Scooters Coffee and Rescue Towing. Here's your host, meteorologist Abby Dyer.
Good morning, everybody. Conditions across the Ozarks today are going to be stormy on this Wednesday. We've got a lot to get to with severe weather on the way. In fact, 2 rounds possible today. The first showing up on the radar already. So could be a stormy morning drive for many places across the Ozarks. I think the biggest threats with this morning round of rainfall are going to be for some very damaging wind gusts, torrential downpours. There is a hail threat with this as well. And then another threat for severe weather develops this afternoon, closer to a cold front that will be pushing through. The secondary round is likely going to be for the southern Ozarks, but it has the potential for all modes of severe weather. So we've got a lot to keep track of this morning. It is definitely a day that you want to have your weather resources handy and know your safe spot in no matter what location you're in. If you're at work, if you're at school, if you're en route, just make sure you time these things out very carefully as we go through the course of the day today. I expect that temperatures are going to start out in the upper 50s, low 60s for most of you. That's where we are as of 5 a.m. And once again, I have temps that are going to warm up into the upper 70s, but we'll have rain and storms around. So temperature today, very dependent on whether or not it's actually raining. It's going to be one of those days where you look at the temperature trend and it's gone up and down all day because of the rain-cooled air in the region. Severe weather in the forecast, though, today, this first round happening early this morning is going to be more widespread. I think almost everyone in the Ozarks is affected by this. And then a second round this afternoon will likely develop just south of I-44. That's going to sweep through the southeastern Ozarks back into north central Arkansas, all the way into portions of Arkansas. We're talking Louisiana and northeast Texas getting involved in this severe threat today. This extends all the way east into much of the Tennessee Valley, even southern Illinois, going to see some of this strong to severe weather today. So a big portion of the country under what we call an enhanced risk for severe weather. And as I've already mentioned, a couple rounds are going to be possible. This round pushing through early this morning, it's possible to see all modes of severe weather. But as I said, I think some of the biggest risks with this early round include the damaging winds and the hail. I think that we're going to want to watch the radar very carefully, though, because we get closer to the lunch hour and round one starts to taper off in the Ozarks. Round two just gets going. I think that happens shortly after the lunch hour. And then the radar should be dry tonight. By the time we get to sunset, it's going to be very active, though, between the hours of, well, right now, 5 o'clock in the morning through about 10 p.m. tonight for many places across the region. Large hail to the size of baseballs is going to be the threat. Yes, baseballs. I mean, that could do some serious damage, but that's the kind of energy that we have in place with this storm system. There's going to be additional chances for another little push of what we call lift in the atmosphere as the front comes through later. Some supercells could develop. And when that happens, the storms are actually able to fuel themselves a little bit better. So I think hail to the size of baseballs will be possible. There could also be some tornadic activity, particularly with the second round of storms that happens later this afternoon. That one, as I mentioned, likely developing just south of I-44. So I'm hopeful that Springfield can stay out of the second round of rain and storms. We will see those marching to the south and east as we go through the course of the day. When I time this out for you, here's what it looks like. I expect that the hours of noon to 3 may be kind of the lull in activity where we have a little bit of dry time between the two rounds of storms. And the second one is likely to impact more of our southeastern counties. So if you are listening from West Plains, from Rolla, from Lebanon to Bolivar, that's where I think we're going to likely see the second round of storms later in the afternoon. And then we're talking maybe a couple rounds of storms for places in the central portion of the listening area. We also have a localized flooding as this rainfall comes through. And not only will we see thunderstorms capable of producing the hazards I already mentioned, but we're talking maybe in the scale of 1 to 3 inches with some of these thunderstorms. It will pour for a time being if you get right underneath some of the storms. So localized flooding, especially in places that are low-lying, prone to flooding. If you've seen it the last couple of weeks, you're likely going to see some issues with high water again. So that's an issue for us as we go through the course of the day as well. Best chance for seeing some of that excessive rainfall is going to be in the eastern Ozarks, a line from Mountain Home in Arkansas back through West Plains. That will likely be the biggest threat for some flooding risks as we go through the course of the day. Then the cold front comes through. And because of that, we will see a cooler pattern develop Thursday, Friday, and through the weekend. We're also going to see some more comfortable temperatures here. We're talking near 70 degrees. So we cut some of the humidity out of the forecast. We see the temperature cool off and things will calm down for us a little bit as well. Around the country, what's making headlines? It's these severe storms, all eyes on us here in the central part of the country for the Midwest, the Tennessee, and the lower Mississippi valleys. Heavy snowfall also is in the forecast and is set to impact the northern Rockies today. well below temperatures happening out west in the Intermountain West. And then record-breaking heat is making a headline for much of South Texas. That is going to be the case today and tomorrow. In fact, they could see some triple-digit heat in Texas. So our friends down south have already started summertime. All right, it's time for the Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather Brain Twister trivia question for the day. Did you know this one? This is what I left you with yesterday. What is the color of your blood when it is inside your body? Do you think it is A, red, B, blue, C, clear, or D, purple? Well, this was not a trick question. You might have thought it was a trick question. It's not. It's A, red is the answer. And of course, that's the color it is when it comes out too. So now you know. A, the answer. Congrats if that was your guess on our Brain Twister trivia question. Here is the question that I will leave you with for tomorrow. Famous American architect Frank Lloyd Wright once thought of a building as a mile-high skyscraper. It would be the tallest building in the world. What did he call that building? Do you think it was A, the Missouri, B, the Kentucky, C, the Illinois, or D, the Tennessee? You can submit your guess to our Brain Twister trivia question every single day. It is free to enter, and you could win a $20 gift card to Scooter's Coffee every single weekday. Thank you so much to our sponsors, Scooter's Coffee and Rescue Towing. You know who to call if you have an issue on the roads today. I hope everybody stays safe, though. We want everyone to stay safe from the strong to severe thunderstorms moving through the Ozarks. Make sure you have your phones on, you're prepared to receive watches and warnings, and think about your plan through the course of the day. What's the best spot in my house to go? You want to put as many walls between yourself and the outdoors as absolutely possible. And of course, if you can get underground or into a storm shelter, if you're under a tornado warning, that would be the best choice. If not, interior room away from windows. Think about your plans through the course of the day. I hope everybody stays safe. We will chat again tomorrow morning. I will talk to you then.